Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Talk Sports Show with host Alec Pequignot on Friday, October 13th at 3 p.m. We got a jam-packed show today. I'm going to give you my upset picks, locks, player projections, conference standings, coaches that have saved their jobs, and coaches that are in the hot seat, and Heisman list, as well as my Saturday selections and my best bets for college football week 7. Let's get started here. My first upset on the Friday edition of the Talk Sports Show is I have Iowa State +5 over Cincinnati. I am not at all surprised that Cincinnati is on upset alert. I've had them on the show one time this year. And we're going to do this. There we go. And when I had them on upset alert, it was back when they played Miami of Ohio, and Miami of Ohio actually beat them. So I have Cincinnati on upset alert again. My number 2 upset this week is Bowling Green +4.5 over Buffalo. I think this upset is going to happen because Buffalo is one of the worst Division I college football teams this year. And my number 3 upset is Colorado State +7.5 against over Boise State. And this is an 8 o'clock game tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. You get 2 covers. And my number 1 cover on the Friday episode of the Talk Sports College Football Upset Picks and covers is UNLV +8 over Nevada. Nevada's another team I don't care for. I don't think they'll win. My number 2 and 3 covers. My number 2 cover of the week, Kent State +8.5 over Eastern Michigan. And my number 3 cover of the week on this Friday episode is Charlotte +3 to cover over Navy. And now here are some more week 7 player projections. I have Washington State quarterback Cameron Ward, who you may see later in the show, to throw over 290 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns against Cal. My next player projection is Bo Nix over 300 yards passing. Oregon quarterback Bo Nix over 300 yards passing, over 3 passing touchdowns, and 60 rushing yards against Washington. In my third player projection for week 7 is yes. I know what everybody's going to say. Why are all of a sudden now, why are you giving Georgia so much love? It's not really love. It's more of just me seeing that they can actually win with the people they have. And that is Georgia QB Carson Beck, who I think will throw for over 290 yards and over 3 touchdowns and rush for 40 yards and a touchdown against Vanderbilt tomorrow. Now my co-host, Robbie Colleton, here is his upset picks for the Friday show. He's got BYU +6 over TCU. I like this upset. I think it might happen. He's got Missouri +2.5 over Kansas State. I also like this one, but this one might also happen. I don't know why. I just feel like it might. And then he's got UCLA +3.5 over Oregon State. That's his third upset. And now we get to the over-under picks. And how I do this is I give you two games that I would take the over on and one game that I would take the under on. And so the first game I would take the over on is the South Florida Atlanta game. The over-under total is set at 61 points. And I'm going to take the over because I think USF, they're upset after getting absolutely hammered by UAB, and I think they're going to take their frustration out on FAU. So that is why I'm taking the over. Yes, my co-host had this game in his upset picks. I have it on my over-under. BYU, Brigham Young University, and Texas Christian University. The over-under is 52.5. I am taking the over. I believe there will be over 52.5 points scored in this game. And here's my last over-under pick. It is Charlotte versus Navy. And I am taking the under of 43. The over-under in this game is 43.5. I am taking the under. And the reason I say that, and the under, I'm taking the under 43.5 points. Because I believe Navy is just going to line up and run the ball the whole game. Run. And I don't think Charlotte's going to be able to stop the run. Now, here's a new segment that is debuting today. Alec's best bets for college football Saturday. My number one best bet is take Utah and the point spread of -11 against Cal. And I didn't have it on my cover, but I like Utah to cover the -11 point spread. My number two best bet is take the over of 67 points in the Oregon-Washington game. I think there will be a lot of offense in the Washington-Oregon football game this week. Take the over if you're betting on the game. And the last best bet I would take is the Tennessee money line versus Texas A&M of -160. Now on to head coaches that have saved their job in college football. The number 3 head coach that I think has saved his job in college football this year is Houston head coach Dana Holgorsen. He was on the hot seat going into the season because they hadn't had a good past 2 years. And I think right now he has saved his job. Albeit, if they lose a few more games, he might be back on the hot seat. This next coach, I was super low on their team coming into the year, and I only had them winning 3 games this year, 3 or less, and they have blown past that. They've won 4, and it is Neil Brown, West Virginia. West Virginia fans, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was low on y'all in the preseason. I think y'all can win 6 games. And I think Neil Brown is a good head coach. I don't think he needs to be fired. Garrett Green proved something to me last night, that he could be a really good quarterback. The only reason y'all lost to Houston last night is because of the Hail Mary at the end of the game. That was not great win, Houston. But on to the next. The last coach that has saved his job, Justin Wilcox, Cal. He's had a couple big wins this year, and that is why I think, as of this moment of recording this, he has saved his job for the time being. Now we flip to the other side of the spectrum. These are head coaches in college football that are on the hot seat. My number 3 head coach that is on the hot seat is first-year head coach at Coastal Carolina, Tim Beck. Coastal Carolina fans, I tried to warn you. Tim Beck is not a good coach. And I would know that because he used to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. And when he was our offensive coordinator, he stunk. So, Tim Beck is my number 3 coach on the hot seat. My number 2 coach on the hot seat is Virginia Tech's Brett Pry. Virginia Tech was supposed to be good this year. Keyword supposed to. I understand that you lost Grant Wells to injury, but it should be next man up mentality. And it has been, but they've lost a bunch of games. I could have put Virginia coach Tony Elliott in here, but I'm giving them a reprieve because I think they're still trying to get over what happened at the end of last year with that whole incident that happened at UVA. So I'm giving him a pass. My number 1 coach that is on the hot seat, and this may surprise some people. I know he's won the Big 12 championship 2 out of the last 3 years. Matt Campbell at Iowa State. I know what people are going to say. Why is he on the hot seat? He should not be there because Iowa State is dealing with a gambling probe right now. I understand that, but that doesn't mean that you should be losing games. Now on to a segment I like to call Saturday Selections and Picks. I give you 4 games that I picked the winner to. Most of the time I'm right, most of the time I'm wrong. My first one is Utah and Cal. I pick Utah. I'm taking Utah to win for one reason. I like this freshman quarterback they have. My number 2 game, and this is a team in my top 25. Toledo, Ball State. I have Toledo beating Ball State. My number 3 game, I will pop it up. I will bring it up here in a second. This team is in a bounce back week because they got beat by Ohio State by a few marginal points, 37-17. But they played really well. That would be I just shut that game up. Illinois at Maryland. I have Maryland winning, and I have Maryland winning decisively, making it not even close. In the last game, I have Auburn, LSU. as much as I want to pick Auburn to beat LSU, it's not going to happen. I think LSU ends up winning. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is my Heisman Trophy list, updated after week number 6. At number 5, I have Quinn Ewers from Texas. He does not fall out of the Heisman list. He had a good game against Oklahoma. At number 4, Austin Reed from Western Kentucky. I update my Heisman list after every week. And Austin Reed is on there this week. Doesn't mean he'll be on there next week. How I do it is based on how the guys play every week. That's how I do my Heisman list, if you wanted to know. At number 3, I mentioned that you may see this guy later on in the show, Cameron Ward, Washington State. Kid has a heck of an arm. And if I'm an NFL team, I'm sending my scouts to watch Cameron Ward. Because I think he could be a top 10 pick whenever he comes out. At number 2, this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, Marvin Harrison Jr. Or Marv, as Buckeye fans call him. MHJ. Whatever you want to call him. He is number 2 on my Heisman list. He might be the front runner for the Heisman. I don't get why people are saying that he's not. And the other thing I'm going to talk about after the Heisman is my snubs for mid-season All-Americans. My dark horse my number 1 Heisman Trophy guy after week 6 is Joe Milton, Tennessee. They did not play last week. They had a bye. So he stays at number 1. And the moment you have all been waiting for, my dark horse Heisman pick. Ohio State fans are not going to be happy with me. I think they think Kyle McCord should be here. J.J. McCarthy, Michigan. This kid has a great arm. I know I knocked on him for what he said about Ohio State last year after they beat Ohio State. But a heck of a football player. Now here are my 3 players to watch in week 7 of college football. At number 3, Drew Aller, Penn State. This young sophomore quarterback for Penn State is pretty good. No slouch at all. I think he's got a bright future at Penn State. Number 2, Joe Milton, Tennessee. This is where he can submit. If they beat South Carolina, if they beat A&M and they beat them bad, Joe Milton can solidify himself a spot in the Heisman Trophy list. And at number 1, you know I had to put a Buckeye on here. Linebacker / defensive end, Jack Sawyer. This kid is a game wrecker. And you can try to double team Jack Sawyer. I feel like he's about to go off against Purdue this week for probably 2 or 3 sacks. And now, here are my AAC power rankings after week 6. At number 14, I have North Texas. Yes, I made a little change at the bottom. It's not East Carolina anymore. They moved up a spot. Number 13, East Carolina. They have been It's slowly starting to show that I should have put them higher. I know they've only won 2 games. Number 12, Temple. Number 11, Rice. Number 10, Charlotte UAB. Why is UAB at number 10? You may ask. I had them lower than this last week. They moved up a couple spots after beating USF. Number 9, Charlotte. Number 8, UTSA. Number 7, Navy. Number 6, Tulsa. Give me 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get the championship. Nope. Sure. It said Tulsa, correct. Yes. At number 5, USF, and this is where I'm going to explain. They got beat really bad by UAB, and that's a 1-win UAB team. But I think they can bounce back this week and beat FAU. Speaking of FAU, FAU is at number 4. At number 3, Tulane. Number 2, SMU. And number 1, Memphis. So between conferences, so we got Big 10. We got the Big 12, Big 10, and SEC do. But between those, I'm good. Here is my updated conference championship. Updated conference championship. So the first one, my updated Big 10 conference championship. My old Big 10 championship game is Ohio State, Purdue, and I don't think that's going to happen. So my updated new Big 10 championship game is Ohio State, Wisconsin. I don't know why I ever doubted Wisconsin to begin with. It was not a smart choice. So I have Ohio State, Wisconsin as my new Big 10 championship game. My new Pac-12 championship game. Preseason, my Pac-12 title game was Colorado USC. Because I really thought that Dion was going to take Colorado to the Pac-12 title game. They may still, they're going to still probably win 6 or 7 games, but it's not going to be going to the Pac-12 title game. My updated Pac-12 title game is USC and Oregon. My updated AAC conference championship game. So my old AAC title game in the preseason was UTSA South Florida. And as you saw in my power rankings for the AAC, I don't think UTSA is going to do that well this year. So, new conference championship game in the AAC is USF, South Florida, and Memphis. Updated MAC championship game. In the offseason, before the season, I said Miami of Ohio versus Ohio U. Now, I have to change that a little bit. And I think it's going to be Miami of Ohio and Toledo. The Big 12 championship game. My old Big 12 championship game was Texas, Kansas State, because I thought Kansas State was actually going to be good this year. My new Big 12 championship game is Texas, Oklahoma, which I think everybody can agree with me. That's what we're heading towards. ACC updated championship game. I thought it was going to be Florida State, Clemson, but boy, was I wrong about one of those teams, and I was Clemson. My new ACC championship game is Florida State and Duke. And I think, this is the last one. My last updated conference championship game is SEC. My old SEC championship game was Tennessee LSU. And my updated conference championship game in the SEC is Tennessee and Georgia. Now on to the Big 12. And as I did with the AAC, I'm just going to go over where everybody was ranked. So at number 14, Baylor. 13, Cincinnati. Number 12, Houston. Number 11, Iowa State. Number 10, Texas Tech. Number 9, TCU. Number 8, Oklahoma State. Number 7, Kansas State. Number 6, Kansas. Number 5, Oklahoma. Number 4, BYU. Number 3, UCF. Number 2, West Virginia. And number 1, Texas. Texas is going to stay at number 1 unless they lose more games. Now the Big Ten. Big Ten power rankings after week 6. Number 14, Michigan State. They have made a quarterback change. I was watching a podcast this morning. They have changed from Noah Kim. I don't remember the kid's name that's going to start for Michigan State this week. But hopefully he can help them win some games. At number 13, Northwestern. At number 12, Indiana. Number 11, Illinois. 10, Nebraska. Number 9, Iowa. 8, Rutgers. Big game for Purdue this week. They play Ohio State at home. Purdue could move up into the top 5 of the Big Ten power rankings if they beat Ohio State. Which means right now they're at 7. At 6, Minnesota. They laid a big-time egg against Michigan. They weren't expected to win, but everybody was hoping they would. And they completely blew it. At number 5, Michigan. Michigan's another team that can move up into the top 4 of the Big Ten rankings if they keep winning. Number 4, Maryland. Like I said, they had a big chance last week. They were number 1 in my power rankings going into after week 5 in the Big Ten. They lost to Ohio State, which moved them down 3 spots to number 4. At number 3, I just talked about them earlier in the updated Big Ten championship game. And that would be Wisconsin. Wisconsin is at number 3. Number 2, Ohio State. Their offense is starting to find its groove and click, which could be trouble for other teams. And at number 1, Penn State. And now the last conference. Everybody's favorite, the SEC. At number 14, Mississippi State. Again, they're a team I'm not really good. 1 week they're bad. South Carolina's at number 13. Beamer Bowl is still for real. I think they beat Florida this week and move up my rankings in the SEC. Number 12, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, unfortunately, I think is probably going to be staying here after this week because they played Georgia, and I think they're going to get creamed by Georgia. Number 11, Auburn. Auburn's a team that I still don't know enough about. That is why I have them at number 11. Number 10, Alabama. Yes, I know what everybody's going to say. Why isn't Alabama in the top 6? Quarterback. Their quarterback play is still a big time issue. Number 9, Florida. Florida. If they can somehow beat South Carolina, they will move up my rankings, but I don't think they will. Number 8, LSU. Jaden Daniels needs to start getting some respect from Heisman voters. I have my eyes peeled on LSU games, and I know he's not in my Heisman rankings this week, but Jaden Daniels will be in my Heisman rankings soon enough. At number 7, Arkansas. They're another team that's hit or miss because they can win games, but they also lose for no reason. Number 6, Kentucky. Kentucky's not for real, folks. If they were, they would have beaten Georgia. At number 5, Texas A&M. A&M is a team that I'm scared of, personally. Because I think with Max Johnson at quarterback, they can pull some upsets. But it won't be against Tennessee, unfortunately. Number 4, Missouri. Brady Cook is a really good quarterback. Number 3, the 2-time defending national champions, Georgia Bulldogs. I know why people, I'm kind of back on the Georgia bandwagon, but to get me fully back on that bandwagon, you need to win, and you need to win by more than 20 this week against Vanderbilt. I'm looking at you, Carson Beck. Come on. Throw for more than 3 touchdowns. Ole Miss is number 2. Jackson Dart is a really, really good quarterback. And at number 1, Tennessee. Tennessee is back, folks. They will win the SEC. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard, I'm offering a free fantasy basketball league to all my lovely supporters of the channel. Please join. The link is in the description down below, and it'll be in the description of the next few videos, as well as at 6 o'clock tonight. Join the live stream. I will be doing a fantasy football Q&A. Join up. You can ask your fantasy football questions to me, and I will answer them until 6 o'clock. Peace. I'm out.